Hi guys, it's a pound Aussie trade I caught on Tuesday morning in the Asia session. So we just ended the daily candle pretty bearish over here. The next candle, if it can go down, that will be even better, because then we are basically trading the M2 breakout. So basically we had the breakout to the downside below the EMAs, we had the pullback and we missed it over here, but then the price came back again and has tapped into the weekly 55 again, and I had to go with a much bigger stop this time. Usually I don't uh, go for around 100 pip stop, but the risk reward is great, so it's a 1 to 3. So I I went for it, and it's a smaller lot size, so it's a one lot, but if I had a much smaller stop I could have had 2 or 3 lots, as I explained in the webinar. So now currently this is around 100 pips in profit. So tomorrow we have the CPI news for the pound on Wednesday. Um, so it's coming out quite early in the morning at 7, and at the moment we are up around 100 pips in profit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close around 60% of the trade and leave the rest running, because I'm up 100 pips. I don't want to be risking 100 pips and for it to reverse all the way back up tomorrow. So safe thing for me to do is take some profit off and leave the rest run. So I'll close 60% of the trade, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stop a little bit below, so I'm risking less. So instead of risking now 300, I'm risking around 200. So I'm gonna give it the enough room in case it tends to spike around news time. But let's see what happens, what the figures are out tomorrow, and I'll keep you updated. Hi guys, trade update is 2 days later, so it's Thursday today, and basically we are now around 120 pips in profit on the pound Aussie trade, which is where I caught it down in here. So we have NFP later on, and we are still early in the London session, so I'm going to leave it running as it is. Maybe just move my stop a little bit lower now to reduce my risk. I had already lowered it from here to here, and then now I'll just move it a little bit lower to reduce my risk. But I've already taken partial profits on this trade, and it still has a potential to do a lot more, so another 200 pips probably. So I'm gonna leave that running later. And I've also caught the Euro USD trade, which is to do with support and resistance. And basically what got me into this trade was we're clearly in a downtrend here. Price respected structure, we broke below the level of support, so I waited for the retest on the 4 hour, and then we had lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this is where I entered, and we did go in a bit of drawdown, but then when the price closed here again, it just tanked over there. So I'm going to leave that running as well, and I caught that one on my live account. So in here, as you can see, so we are only up around 50 odd pips on that. I'm risking about 40 or 34. So it's not really 1 to 2 yet. My overall target should be in here about 100 pips, but I'm gonna leave it running a little bit more because we're still early in the London session. So if we get price closer to around in here, I'm going to take most of my profit, and I'm gonna leave the rest to run through NFP. So my um, bigger target is around in here, around 170 odd pips. So let's see what London session does before NFP, and I'm gonna try and reduce my risk on that a few hours later on. So I'll keep you updated. Hi guys, trade update on Euro USD. So we are up around 60 pips in profit on this trade. My overall take profit target is around in here at 114.70, but we have non-employment, the non-farm payrolls coming out in about 90 odd minutes, so I don't want to risk that and for this to completely reverse and go all the way up. I do see the potential for it to go down, but there is that big news event, so I don't want to compromise my trade here and leave it running through that news. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take partial profit. So I have 0.5 lots on this, and I'm going to close most of the position, so around 0.40, close that trade, and then what I'm going to do is make it a risk-free trade, so move it to break even, and I'm going to leave the rest running through NFP. And if the trade goes in my favor, which it is still bearish as we can see, lower high, lower lows, then it has a potential to do another 50 odd pips on this trade. So I'll keep you updated after NFP. Hi guys, last trade update. So it's Friday today and I'm looking to manage my trade. So the pound Aussie came back into the area yesterday after NFP, and this is an area I would have considered to short again, but it's Friday and I've already taken some partial profit on this, so I don't want to leave it running over the weekend. So I'm just going to close the position where it is right now. The 4-hour candle did close with a bearish pin bar, but I'm going to take my profit and not leave it to run. So close that trade. And the last one is the euro. So the euro I held through NFP and it was a break-even trade there, so I moved my stop after that today to around in here. And what I'm going to do now is around 60 pips in profit. So I don't want to hold it all the way down here because you have the US flash manufacturing PMI coming out in about 45 minutes. So I don't want to risk it through that. I'm already up 60 pips. I can bend my profit because what I need to do is about 30, so I'm already up quite a bit here. So I'm going to take my profit there and close the rest of the position. So that was around 100 pips on pound Aussie and 60 pips closed here on Euro USD. So that's 160 pips for the week. Have a good weekend.